Assalamu alaikum. In lesson 7, we talked about the 4 different types of sentences in the English language, which are simple sentences, compound sentences, complex sentences, and finally compound complex sentences. We said that one of the ways to make compound sentences is by using the coordinating conjunctions, also called as the fanboys. In today's lesson, we're going to explain these coordinated conjunctions in details, and we're going to understand how we can use them to join 2 independent clauses together. So let's take a look at today's lesson together. Okay. Now let's look at the coordinating conjunctions. We can also call them the fanboys, and we can also call them coordinators. A coordinating conjunction is a word that joins 2 elements of equal grammatical rank and importance. So both of them have the same value. That's why we call them coordinators, because they join 2 elements which are equal to each other. Unlike the subordinators that we're going to discuss in the next lesson that combine 2 elements, one of them is dependent and the other one is independent. Okay, so coordinators can join 2 verbs or 2 nouns or 2 adjectives or 2 phrases or even 2 independent clauses, and this is what we're gonna discuss in today's lesson. The 7 coordinated conjunctions are for, and, nor, but, or, yet, and so. And that's why we call them fanboys. F for, A for and, N for nor, B for but, or, yet, and so on. Okay, now there's something that you want to take into consideration when you're learning how to use the fanboys. In the formal English, you should not start a sentence with any of these conjunctions if you're writing a formal essay. And typically, task 2 in the academic IELTS is formal, and also in the general IELTS, you need to try to make it as formal as you can. So you should avoid using fanboys at the beginning of sentences. Like this example, I was sad, so my friend came over to cheer me up. You shouldn't do that. You may tell me, but I have seen it like that so many times. You're right, you have seen it like that so many times, but every time it's written like that, it's in an informal situation. It could be a letter or a newspaper article or like a social media article or something like that. But within formal situations, it should not be like that. How can we fix it? We basically remove the comma from here and we put it before so, and remove the full stop and remove the capital letter and make it a small letter. Okay. And again, when you use coordinating conjunctions, you are trying to create a compound sentence that consists of 2 independent clauses. Now, let's take each one of these coordinating conjunctions and understand what it means and how to use it. Okay, the first one, for, we use it to add a reason. Like when you say, for example, Japanese people live long for they eat healthy meal diets. The word for means because. You could actually replace the word for with the word because. But if you do that, you're going to remove this comma. And again, if you do that, this will not be a compound sentence. It will be a complex sentence because, as we said before, the word because is used to create a complex sentence because it's a subordinator. We are going to discuss subordinators in details in the next lesson. Okay. Number 2, to add a similar equal idea, we use the word and. They eat a lot of fish and vegetables and they eat lightly. So you have an independent clause right here and an independent clause right there. And then you have the word and. So together they make a compound sentence and you have to use a comma. It's basically the same for each one of the fanboys that you have to use a comma before each one of them. Number 3, to add a negative equal idea, you use the word nor. They don't eat a lot of red meat, nor do they eat many dairy products. Pay attention to the fact that after you use the word nor, you use the inversion, which is the question order. It's like as if you're making a question, but it's not really a question. So we use the auxiliary verb do. Do they eat many dairy products? But it's not a question because we don't have a question mark. So this is how it works. They don't eat a lot of red meat, nor do they eat many dairy products. Let's continue. To add an opposite idea, you may use the word but. Diet is one factor in living long, or in living a long life, but it's not the only factor. So you have the word but, and we use a comma before it. To add an alternative possibility, or all people should limit the amount of food they eat, or they should exercise more. To add an unexpected fact, we use the word yet. Cigarette smoking is harmful, yet many Japanese consume a lot of tobacco. Finally, the word so, to add an unexpected result. Stress is another harmful factor. I'm sorry, to add an expected result, not unexpected, of course. Stress is another harmful factor, so try to avoid stress if you wish to live longer. Let's practice. What you need to do is to look at this exercise and then choose one of the fanboys to complete each one of these sentences. Take some time, please. Okay, we're gonna continue. If you wish to take more time, you can pause the video. Okay, so it was raining, but we still had fun. I couldn't go into the store, for it was closed. She was quite sleepy, yet she continued to study. Tina didn't want to exercise, nor did she want to study. The children saw lions and tigers at the zoo. Tomorrow it might be cloudy or it might be sunny. It was cold outside, so we stayed inside. They visited the museum and went to a restaurant afterwards. She's good at playing volleyball, yet her favorite sport is tennis. And finally, my son doesn't want to go to school, nor does he want to practice the piano. Pay attention to the fact that we use the question order. Does he want to practice the piano? Also look at this one. Did she want to study? It's like a question, but it's not really a question. Okay, we do that with no, just with no. When it comes to the discussion of fanboys, we have to talk about parallel structure. It's really important. Okay, let me explain to you what I'm trying to say here. When you use a list of items preceded by one of the fanboys, you need to make sure that these items have the same grammatical structure. Look at this example. Mustafa likes hiking, soccer matches, and to use social media. There's a problem here. What's the problem? Okay, so you have a list of items. 1, 2, 3. And then you have the word and. But there is a problem. What's the problem? Hiking is a gerund, a verb plus ing. Soccer matches, noun. To use an infinitive form. That cannot work. You can't have different grammatical structures in a list of words which are joined by the word and. So what should you do? You need to make sure that all of them have the same grammatical structure. How? Maybe you can say like this. Mustafa likes hiking, watching soccer matches. We put a gerund here. There's a gerund. And using social media. Now it's perfect. No mistakes. Hiking, watching, using. No mistakes. Let's take another example. My best friend took me dancing and to a show. There's a problem here. Dancing, a gerund, a verb plus ing. To a show, a noun. No, that's wrong. We have to fix it. Take some time, try to fix it. My best friend took me dancing and to a show. How can you make this sentence grammatically correct? I'll show you the answers in a few seconds, but let's look at this one too. Mr. Ahmed is a lawyer, a chess player, and he teaches English. Oh, there's a problem. Lawyer, noun, chess player, noun. He teaches English, applause. Oh, we can't have that. We can't have that. Obviously, we need to change this part. Think about it for some time. Now I'm going to show you the answers. Look at that. My best friend took me dancing and to a show. So we can make it, my best friend took me to a dance and a show. So we changed it dancing, we made it a noun. So this way it's similar to the next one, a show. So now it works. Mr. Ahmed is a lawyer, a chess player, and he teaches English. So it becomes Mr. Ahmed is a lawyer, a chess player, and an English teacher. Now it's a noun. I'd like you to practice now. Look at these sentences right here. Can you see them from 1 to 6? Some of them have grammatical mistakes which are related to the parallel structure, and some of them don't have any mistakes. What you need to do is to look at them and decide which have mistakes, and then you need to correct them, and the ones that don't have any mistakes, you're not going to make any changes. Take some time, look at them. Okay, now we're going to discuss the answers. If you need more time, you can pause the video. The shepherd chased the sheep through the valley, along the river, and followed them over the hill. There's a problem here. Through the valley, along the river, but this part is different, and followed them over the hill. So obviously this part needs to be changed. Succeeding in school is all about reading closely, to think critically, and making it to class on time. No, reading and then to think. You have a gerund, and this is different. It's an infinitive form, and making it. So reading and making are the same structure, but this one is different. So obviously, if we're gonna change anything, we're gonna change this part. The magician pulled a rabbit, a bouquet of flowers, and a gold watch out of a top hat. Do you see any problems? So you have a rabbit, bouquet of flowers, a gold watch. Marwa cooked lunch, cleaned the room, and she gave the children a shower today. Cooked, verb. Cleaned, verb. She gave the children a clause. So something needs to be done regarding the clause. She decided to leave her job and traveling around the world. Leave the job, traveling, problem. He started the engine, released the handbrake, and checked the mirror. Started, released, checked. Are there any problems? Let me show you the answers. Okay. The shepherd chased the sheep through the valley, along the river, and over the hill. Now all of them have the same grammatical structure. Through the valley, along the river, over the hill. Succeeding in school is all about reading closely, thinking critically, and making it to class on time. Reading, thinking, making, no problems. The magician pulled the rabbit, a bouquet of flowers, and a gold watch out of a top hat. No mistakes. All of them are the same. They have the same grammatical structure. Marwa cooked lunch, cleaned the room, and gave the children a shower today. So we need to change this part. Instead of saying, and she gave, we remove the subject and make it a verb. Now it's correct. Cooked, cleaned, gave. She decided to leave her job and travel. Leave and travel. Finally, he started the engine, released the handbrake, and checked the mirror. Started, released, checked. Okay. Let's take another exercise. Also, some of these sentences might have mistakes which are related to the parallel structure, and some of them may not have any mistakes. So take your time and decide which is which. I will show you the answers now. Feel free to pause the video if you need more time to think. Okay, let's look at the first one. Did you decide not to come because you're tired or you are feeling sick? So we have to change this part. Instead of saying, are you feeling? Because you have a sentence here, you are tired. It's like a clause. And it should be, you are feeling. They should have the same grammatical structure. You are tired, you are feeling. Instead of, are you feeling? This is the change here. I would describe her as intelligent, caring, and thoughtful. No mistakes, no change. You may say, oh, but caring is a gerund, but gerunds can be used as adjectives, so no problems. You have an adjective and an adjective and an adjective, so they're all the same. Some people think that being successful is the same thing as having money. Being, having. The bus will go to Ismailia, Port Said, and Cairo. So this way you have a noun, a noun, and a noun. Or you can say the bus will go to Ismailia, to Port Said, and to Cairo. But this is very redundant. It's not a good idea. So I prefer you just say to Ismailia, Port Said, and Cairo. Raphael delivered his speech with confidence and enthusiasm. Noun and noun. You can't have a noun and an adverb. Okay. I hope today's lesson was useful, and I'm going to see you in the next lesson. Have a nice time.